It's a strange thing. I thought yesterday was June 12th. I could have sworn that I looked at my phone and it said June 12th when I made the video of my, I guess what you could call the celebration of my father's birthday that he never celebrated. But or my reflection upon my father. But now I wake up and I look at my phone and it still says June 12th. I could have sworn yesterday it said June 12th. Things like that happen. It's very strange. But today's June 12th and I feel as though my dad wants me to say more about him. And I got so many thoughts running through my head and I don't even know where to start, or I have no end in mind. But maybe it'll come to me as I just rehearse here, the memories of my life and the keynotes that or the notable events that are embedded in my thinking and in my heart. So this revolves around me. I mean, all my grandma's picture books got burned, and I never really seen that I can remember any pictures or anything that had to do with my father as he was a kid or anything. But his grandfather let him drive his tractor, and that was a fond memory for my father. He told me so. And when my dad was growing up, he was a pretty smart guy, or at least he had to live a structured life and a disciplined life. But he was also rebellious, and he as a kid he liked slot cars, and he built some slot. He had slot cars. He had slot car parts, motors, and frames and wheels. And then when he got older, he started racing stock cars, and he liked speed and power. And I remember driving with him in a car one time. And then I remember a lot, driving with him in a Volkswagen that he had, a Volkswagen Bug. And of course, this was back in the 60s. I was born in 62, and my feet couldn't touch the floor of the Volkswagen. And well, he would take us to Illiana Speedway, and that was always a fun event. He took us, me and my stepbrothers, to the funny car races as well. Illiana Speedway was for stock cars, and then he would take us to see the funny cars. And then you know, I remember him calculating in his checkbook, trying to get enough money to get a certain motorcycle. And he had a couple Harley Davidson choppers that was famous back in like the 70s. And he wore a jean jacket and a black leather jacket. And yeah, I remember trying it on and stuff like that. My arms couldn't even go through the sleeves or anything, but yeah, sometimes when I was cold, he'd let me put on his jacket. And then he kind of got into the biker scene a little bit, and he had long hair. He kind of looked like on the I think they're called ZZ Top rolling papers. They got a picture of a guy with long hair, and that's always reminded me of my father. That's kind of what he looked like. And he had a beard and long hair, and he was sort of like a tough guy. I think he was more tough in spirit than he was, physically. I mean, he didn't like work out or anything, but he was smart. That's my impression. And he did, become a tool and die maker. First, he became a machinist at the Ford Motor Company in Chicago Heights, and then he, I think, went up higher to being a tool and die maker. And I know that he made the templates or whatever you do to make the doors of a vehicle. And I know that when women started entering the workforce, I don't know, might be talking like the 80s and the 90s now, but I'm not sure time frame and everything. But was born in 62, so 72 I would have been 10, 82 I would have been 20. So that would be probably around, I don't know. I remember him complaining about it even when I got older. So his complaint was that a man now couldn't make enough money to feed a family, and he blamed that on women entering the workforce. So, because then you didn't have to pay a man as much, because then the society said, well, men and women can work. So now instead of having one income per household, now you have two incomes per household. And then, how things work, then it takes two people to have enough money to pay your mortgage or your rent and your car or whatever, your insurance and all that. It takes two people, and times change. But so when he became a Christian, first of all, I'll tell you, my mom became a Christian, and this is bringing me back. I was a little kid. I'm talking about like, first, second, and third grade, and my mom was already remarried by the time I got in first grade. I went to Catholic school in Chesterton, Indiana, and so my mom became a Christian, and I got she quit giving me my medication for epilepsy, and I never had any more seizures. seizures. And she said she had a vision when she got filled with the Holy Spirit and was speaking in tongues, and God gave her a vision, and Jesus came to her and said that I was healed, that he healed me. Well, I didn't set right with my father. My father kept me at my grandma's house, at my grandma and grandpa's house for, about a week. He wouldn't return me to my mom, thinking like he could get custody of me or something because she was crazy. And I remember my grandma telling me as we were looking out the window, because the lawyer's office was right across the street from my grandmother's and grandfather's house. And my dad was working, and I was at home with my grandma, and I remember her staring across the street and saying to me, Donald's gonna have to return you. She was like pondering it. I could remember, I could sense the spirit of, I can still remember the spirit of the occasion. And it's like that sometimes, you just, you can't remember everything that's said exactly, but the spirit of the occasion, like, rests upon your heart and your mind and your soul and never goes away. Well, he returned me, and then my mom felt that she needed to make a change in her life for some reason, and moved to Wisconsin from Indiana. And we lived in Valparaiso, and not really far from my grandparents' house, but I was a little kid. I didn't know proximities of anything, and I remember my dad coming over on his motorcycle and trying to pick me up for a visitation one time, and we were living in Chesterton at that time. My stepdad, which his name was Jim. Right? It was short-lived. Right? But we had a big house, and he made a lot of money until he got busted for embezzlement by his boss. He was a manager of a Holiday Inn. They made a big mistake. After that, he had to become a truck driver. But that's another story. He was a little bit scary to me. But my dad was angry that my mom let me go with him back to my grandparents' house on his motorcycle. I remember him leaving the driveway and getting onto the hard road and cranking a wheelie, and he drove that wheelie, I don't know, almost all the way out of my view. And my mother was always a little bit afraid of my father. That's what she told me. And she told me stories to go along with it, to justify her fear. Part of it was because she was just a kid. And the other part is my dad was kind of domineering, kind of intense, had a fierceness to him. I remember him when me and my brother, started doing drugs after I became, at least 12 years old. I think I started smoking pot when I was 12. And, different times are different back then. I mean, for one thing, at that time, pot was illegal. Today it's not. But, you could get anything you wanted. We could go to this place. In fact, we would hitchhike into Chicago. I think the place is called Wampum Village. And it was a park. And you walk down the road and people holler out what they had, and you could buy anything you wanted, LSD, Quaaludes, marijuana, with different kind, whatever they had, different mescaline, there's all kinds of stuff. And so I was always looking for an escape, I guess. I don't know. I liked to take drugs at that time, because it was an escape for me, and it was fun. It was like going to the carnival or whatever. And I remember my dad taking me and my brother into the back room adjacent to the trailer that he lived in there in a town called St. John, Indiana, right on Highway 41. He used to say, we in Wisconsin, I lived on Highway 41 with my mom, and in Indiana, he lived right off of Highway 41. And I remember him telling me that if I could spit far enough, I could spit all the way from his house all the way to my house. Well, I remember him telling me that how he's seen people or a persons. I don't remember if he said people or a person or what, but a person at least chained up to a motorcycle and having their arm ripped off. And he trying to make me and my brother afraid of the path that we were going down. And I guess trying to say that he's been there and it's not a good place to go. But, we were kids, we used to try everything. We tried to put, I can't remember what. Back in that day, we used to get a drug called Tick, with THC or something, mix it up and put it in an eyedropper and put it in your eyes. I actually used a needle by the time I was 16. And so, and there's a reason for all this, of course. But I always had a God consciousness because, after all, I was healed of epilepsy in the 3rd grade, and I went to my dad became, first of all, I could just tell you, my dad became a Christian, and then he got married to the woman he was living with, Dorothy, and she had 4 kids and became my stepbrothers. Of course, I knew him since I was little, because he always lived with her. He met her in a bar in Cedar Lake near St. John, and so my mom's gonna move, and then so my dad's already a Christian, and I went with him to different places. Like I went with me and my couple of my brothers went with Brian and Jack. We went, maybe Rick too. Steve was the oldest one. He wasn't around, and but to hand out flyers of my dad's testimony, how he became a Christian. And he said he became a Christian. He met in Chicago at like a Jesus People USA, like, I don't know what they call it, coffee house. That's what it was, coffee house. And he said he swears to God the guy had to be an angel, and made such an impact on him that he felt compelled to turn his life over to Jesus Christ and become a disciple of Jesus Christ, which he did. And he put out his testimony and cut all his hair off. He had long hair, and all the way down, everywhere, and beard. And he came home one day, and I wasn't there. I seen him when I came for my visitation on the weekend. and he had cut all his hair off, cut his beard off, looked totally different, and that's where it all started. In a new chapter of his life, and then so my mom wants to move, and so he wasn't for that. I mean, but, so he came over. Him and Dorothy came over to our house, and there on Emmitsburg Street in Valparaiso, and they're gonna. I guess the plan was they're gonna determine whether I stay and live with my father, or I go to Wisconsin with my mother, 500 miles away. And so what they did is they prayed, and then they rolled dice, and whoever got the highest die roll, the 2 dice, or I don't really know if they used 1 dice or 2, but whoever got I think they probably used 2. They probably got the dice from the Yahtzee game that everybody played back then. And but they prayed, and because there's a verse in the Proverbs of the Bible that the die is of the Lord, and a lot of people, I don't know if it's still a thing anymore, but a lot of people used to draw straws. Whoever got the shortest straw had to do a certain thing, or something like that. And when you had to make a decision, you just draw straws or roll dice. Well, they prayed about it, sanctified it, committed it to the Lord's decision, and I was freaking out, man. I was in the room, in me and my brother's bedroom, and it seemed like an eternity, and I didn't know what the hell. Man, I remember I couldn't even hardly think. I couldn't concentrate on the game. Some kind of checkers game on the other side of the checkerboard had different things, whatever. I didn't know how to play. I couldn't figure it out. I was freaking, and the thing was, I wasn't even really afraid of. It wasn't like I was afraid to leave my mom. That wasn't my fear. I don't know what my fear was. I was just afraid. The whole thing cast a spell on me. I was afraid. Well, my mom won, so my dad had to accept that, and he did. I remember then my dad used to fly me on an airplane, and one time he had a buddy who had an airplane. One time a few times he came and picked me up in that little airplane, like a 4-man airplane or something like that. And then visit my father, and I guess that's where I fell into and started using drugs and smoking pot. I never smoked cigarettes, but I remember pressure being put on me, like since I didn't smoke, like I was inferior or something like that. I remember the stupid games back then, but I was still kind of, I developed a certain level of independence, and I always felt like I had to be alone. So then I just remember looking at the picture book at my dad's house. They had one. My mom had all kinds of picture books. There's a difference, between my mom and my dad. But there was one picture in there of me with my head laying on my father's chest. And I stole that picture out of the picture book because I had no picture of me and my father, and it meant something to me. And it's amazing. That reflection right there, tells me what I was longing for as a child. And I was longing for a relationship with my father, and my father really didn't treat me right. And in my, of course, I couldn't make these evaluations back then. The only thing I could do back then is feel the pain. I couldn't like verbalize it or make sense out of it or anything like that. But I felt the pain. Felt the pain of missing my dad, even though he was my dad. It don't matter what anybody else's dad was like. He was my dad, and that meant something to me. But time goes on, and things are transformed. Things become transformed, and I suppose the message in this for me is the hand of God reaches into us in mystical ways that we can't understand, and molds our spirits and our hearts, and it's inevitable. Some people got it bad. Some people got it real bad. That's why a while back I remember I said, when you master all the skills and all the techniques, whether it's, Tai Chi, karate, jiu-jitsu, boxing, wrestling, music, art, mathematics, science, world history, whatever is for you, master it all. But and when we do this, we put armor on ourselves. We become stronger, and we have protective armor because things can't penetrate through our self-protections, and that's necessary. But when you're talking to another person, just be a person. Be a person without the armor. And try to walk in another person's shoes. There's an Indian saying, something about, you don't really know me until you've walked in my moccasins. Well, I love my father, and I forgive my father. He did the best he could, out of the context from which he was born. And my life was given to me for this said time and this challenge. And but I guess one of the things I missed was my father actually talking to me, and so that's probably a lot of the reason why I'm talking to you, because a lot of times we become the opposite of our parents. Our parents' mistakes become the areas that we excel in. Well, like Jackie Benson's song that I love, I've just come across her recently, time keeps rolling on. It says in there, with or without you, baby, time keeps rolling on. Alright, I love you. Bye.